welcome to the Scratticus Academy. We are back with some more werewolfy goodness today. So before I go around the table and say hello to all of these lovely faces here, first of all, please check out the links coming up in the chat now. That includes the content warning, also Discord. We have a channel just for this game. We would love to hear what you think about it or what your theories are as to what is going on and how we're going to solve this. Also, if you've missed out on anything, you can head over to YouTube. All of our games are put into, what is the word? I've forgotten it already. Playlists. You can go and check them all out in playlists. Jump over there. If you'd like to get into this game or one of our other viewer games, head over to Twitter and drop Scrat a DM and we will get you on the list. Also, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors who we couldn't do this without, starting off with Hero Forge that do the, I don't know my it doesn't like it. I assure you they're fabulous. These wonderful 3D color printed minis. Scrat and I, if you want to see a bit more and how it works, Scrat and I now have a show on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. EDT where we drink a lot of coffee and use their new beta, and they had some new releases today, so I'm looking forward to trying those out tomorrow. Also, we have Dungeon Fog. Yes, I can. There we go. Sorry, bear with me a second as I try out this new mic. Also, we have Dungeon Fog, which includes it's for all of your map making needs, whether it's for a one shot or whether it's for a campaign. If you change something on the map, it updates everything in your notes as well, so all the information is kept together. Also, we have Magehand Press. You can check out their Fave Folio every Wednesday. That is also one of our viewer games if you want to try that out. And they also created Dark Matter, which you can now get in hardback. As most people know on this channel, Dark Matter is one of my favorites. If you want to do D&D in space, that is the thing for you. It is so good. And last but certainly not least, we also have the Deck of Many, with the Deck of Many Things and the Moving Magic spell cards that we have currently. Their Kickstarter launched today. They've got some more of these cards coming your way, and my absolute favorites, they now have moving tarot cards that can be used in your game, which I know I really want for some games I run on Fridays. So I'm very, very excited for that. Otherwise, let's head round. We'll say hello to everyone. Everyone just say who you are and where we can find you on the internet. And we will start with the very lovely Lily Sparks. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I am the very lovely Lily Sparks. I think this is the first week I've got a very, so I feel very special. Usually I'm the lovely, but now I'm the very. It feels lovely. Yay! Yeah, I'm Lily Sparks. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Lily Sparks with an X. And I'm kind of back from my hiatus, I guess. I posted a couple of things because, drum roll, I have a new game premiering on the Gilding Light channel this Sunday. So if you like me and my antics, and if you like short little stories in D&D and weird stoner magical girl worlds, then check out the Gilding Light channel this Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. ET. And of course, I am here on Scratticus a lot. I'm around the server a lot, so if you want to hang out, come see me on Scratticus Academy here every Tuesday. And on Fridays, I play with Alice in a super dope sci-fi game called Aether's Walkway. That's on Tales from the Grim. So yeah, lots of stuff going on, and I hope you're all doing well tonight. And yeah, excited to see what happens in the end of this Florida episode.
Oh gosh, yeah, after last week. Thank you. Also, thank you for that sub that just came in. The alert scared the bejesus out of me. So we are now going to hop down and say hello to Texas Annie. Oh, hi.
Hello. Hi, I'm Annie Bullock. I don't have nearly as much of an intro there. I'm just excited to be here. I have never played Monster of the Week before, so if I ask a lot of questions, that's fine.
I've played it and I still ask questions. Do not worry. Every week I'm like, what am I doing now?
I run it and I still ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I understand it's 2d6, which I should grab, so I can manage that.
Wonderful, thank you. Then we're going to hop over and say hi to Longfellow Matt. Oh, hi.
Hello, guys. very excited to be here. You guys can find me on Twitter at Longfellow_Matt. I'm also part of a D&D actual play podcast called Misfits Guide to Adventuring, which is Misfits_Guide on Twitter as well. But yeah, this is my first time playing Monster of the Week as well, although I've got a lot of experience, 20 plus years playing TTRPGs, so really excited to be here. Thank you guys.
Awesome, thank you. And thank you, Sphinx, for those bits. Thank you so much. These alerts are gonna make me jump so much. Okay. Oh, it's me. I'm Alice, or White Rabbit Pick. That's where you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I am a photographer as well as the headmistress of the Academy. We want more people to play TTRPGs, so we invite you in to come and learn how. I've already said I'm a photographer. I also am a DM for Aether's Walkway, where I get to play with the lovely Lily every single week. Thank you for more of that. Oh, we've got a hype train. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Where I play with Lily every Friday using the Cypher system on Tales from the Grim, and also I'm also a DM on the Gilding Light with another homebrew world, also using Cypher system. Might have a bit of an obsession with it. Otherwise, I'm going to hand over as the hype train takes off. And again, lovely. Oh, that alert. To our lovely Alpha. Oh, hi.
Oh, welcome everybody to tonight's episode of In the Light of the Moon, a tweaked Monster of the Week game where werewolves exist as not just crazed monsters, but as blessed individuals who fight other monsters. Last week we had our two wolves, Pan and Reese, Alice and Lily, joined forces with our spooky and our mundane, Renee and Books, in the Everglades to enter a den of corruption to retrieve an ancient tome that may hold answers for defeating Marius and the growing corruption. The den held a giant alligator that dealt a swift ass whooping to all those involved. But our mundane airboat driver Books retrieved the book and booked it out of the den. Reese on death's door was healed by Pan through lay on hands, who succeeded with the cost of a transference of harm, thereby endangering Pan's life instead. Reese, now conscious, was able to keep her cool with the assistance of Renee and stabilized Pan. And that is where we left off. Airboat docked, you both looking like you went 20 rounds with Brad Pitt himself on Fight Club and lost. And we still remain in the Everglades, but you do have the tome in hand. Is there anything you both would like to do tonight before trying to find some form of evening's rest?
Find somewhere to get something to eat and drink.
Okay, I mean, it being a hospital, you both are
stable now.
The good news is you both are currently stable. From last I remember, you both have 3 harm, which means you're 1 harm away from needing a hospital. So you look pretty banged up, pretty bloody, definitely bruised cuts. The cuts that you have are excreting a somewhat black ichor ooze coming into contact with a very corrupted being. But it is the Everglades, and there is never a too few of a weird tavern that you could get some greasy food and a pretty good beer. So we'll say that you're able to find like a diner of sorts. I'll call it a bar and a grill, because that's pretty much 90% of what's in Florida is a bar and a grill. We'll call it the Swamp and Grill. There we go. The Swamp and Grill. There's absolutely a dead and stuffed alligator that hangs over the bar. Your eye kind of twitches at it when you see it, knowing what you've just been through. But you're seated at a quiet table, given a little bit of side eye, but it's the Everglades. They've seen weird shit here before. And you order a beer, and the beer comes. What kind of beer do you want?
I call them beach beers, so I don't know what they're
Beach
actually.
beers?
The ones that you just like buy when you're at the beach and you have
Like
this-
Coronas?
Not a Corona, like a.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
You know the big wave beers?
Like, what do you want? Like a land shark? Do you want a Jimmy Buffett beer?
Just
Shock
want
top?
Just want a big.
It's all right. A big, an oversized, chilled glass with some
I
form
want to
of.
feel like a hobbit when I drink.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
bit,
It's the
yeah.
size of your head. It's what the Swamp and Grill is known for. They're overly large beers. Jesus Christ, Mary Joseph. Gonna be a wild ride today. But there you sit, beer in hand. Reese, you can order whatever you may like. But you have that moment.
Do they have chocolate milk? Like an appropriate size of chocolate milk?
They can make it. They'll figure it out.
How are they gonna make it? That
They have
doesn't sound
milk,
good.
and I'm sure they have chocolate from some weird ass shot that they try to make. So they
Okay,
can make
cool.
they can make you some chocolate milk. But the guy gives you a side eye and goes and kind of second guesses why you might be in that bar, but it gets you a chocolate milk regardless.
I look up at him covered in cuts and scars
Mhm.
and bruises. It's been a long night.
Yes.
I literally reach over the bar because I'm quite short and pull it back. Pan doesn't drink, by the way, like at all.
Mhm.
So this is probably one of the first beers in a very long time, but she feels like she just needed it after fighting the alligator, which was definitely not an alligator. It was something much bigger. Probably should be extinct. But she'll take it, like cradle it with both hands towards the table and sit down with it, and does that awkward sipping thing, you know, where they don't take it to their mouth because it's so full, just like sip it off the edge.
And you do so. Go ahead.
What does
I
the
don't
milkshake
know.
come out like? Like, if
It's
they don't
I mean
have one.
it's regular milk. It's just
Chocolate
I kind of
syrup in it.
imagine it's just like they didn't even bother to stir it.
no.
It's
It's
just all the
just
chocolate
floating.
syrup like at the bottom.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and she just sits there. She's awkwardly drinking this beer for a while. I was like, "Do you want food? I kind of want food."
Do you trust the food here?
No, but I'm. As she sort of looks around to, and are there any booths next to us with people in the meeting?
Yeah, a couple booths away. I'd say it's pushing 8 o'clock at this point with y'all getting back from the day's excursions. You see the typical bar food that you would see, like the giant pretzel, the loaded nachos or the loaded fries, depending on what you wanted. Tater tots, the giant burgers that are stacked this high that would cause heart attacks.
She sort of leans over one of the booths. It's like, hello, excuse me. What is that? What are you eating?
Oh, this is a heart exploder. It's got 3 quarter-pound patties and about 5 strips of bacon. Comes with their special mayo sauce. It's delicious. I get this after I get my health checkups every other time, you know, celebrate being healthy, you know.
And a Pan, as a doctor, is watching
Is
reel this up.
horrified. Is
And
horrified.
She's like, as a doctor, I advise you to put that down. And she sort of pauses for a moment and feels like maybe she's going to get chucked out. So she sort of looks over to the others and is like, what are you eating? Like, that isn't that.
The other person is just eating like a normal burger, just like a with bacon, lettuce, tomato, just a plain burger. The other one has like a chili soup that they're dunking in like bread bits. It's very much bar food.
Yeah, I have this image of like Pan being so small, like popping her head over the side of the
she's
booth looking
literally-
at people. And then if you were to like animate pan backwards and out, you would just see Reese like threaded under the table and up over the booth, just like slowly peeking her head up as Pan is like, you should probably put that down. And Reese is like, I want that. And points to the giant burger. I want that one, and I want that one, and I want the soup. And then like you see like a little bit of like wolfishness come to like her ears and face, and she's just like, I'm
Starts
so
drooling.
hungry.
And she sort of looks towards Reese, who's probably as bandaged and as beaten up as her. We look awful. Like we look awful probably peering over into this booth. They're like, what
You
the
look
hell
like you
happened?
went to an underground fighting ring and
Yeah.
they're not wanting to ask questions about it.
Sort of looking at all of that, she looks at Reese, is like, there's a slight doctor's sigh, and she stays on the booth and then shouts towards the bar. She's like, can we have this, please? This. And looks over at another table. What are you eating? Yeah, no. And the loaded fries,
Yep.
please. And just
Extra loaded.
Extra loaded.
and just sort of gestures towards Reese and then looks back at this family. It's like, thank you for your time, and slowly slides back down into their own booth.
Reese slithers back into her seat, defying all physics.
And sits there and waits, and probably Pan's stomach is rumbling and she's trying to ignore it, but she's still trying to sip this beer. And every time she takes a sip, she sort of sips it and then goes back to sip it again because she's bought it now.
It doesn't take
Reese's-
too long for the food to come. It's bar food. It takes like maybe 10 minutes.
Reese is like swirling her chocolate milk in a fashion that people might think of as a wine sommelier, but more just trying to mix the milk because they didn't give her a spoon either. She's like swirling it around awkwardly, and the food comes out, but she doesn't like eat it. She's just like looks off in the distance like, Pan, I've been thinking about something.
And Pan's got like a handful of chips going to her. Uh-huh.
So, you know how I have parents?
Mm-hmm. I haven't met them yet, have I?
No, nobody should. They're librarians. You don't need to meet them. But I was thinking that, you know, they don't know where I go, and they don't ask questions because they're good parents. But I thought maybe I should like write them a letter. And I was wondering if like one of the notebooks that you carry would be good for like emotional letter writing paper. So if something happens to me, then like I can carry the letter on me, and maybe they'll get it or something.
And she sort of half drops one of the chips. It's like, we can write a letter. I'll even let you use my best pen. And she sort of pauses, like, nothing's gonna happen, but we can write the letter. And she starts digging through, and pulls out loads of notebooks. Like there's loads of different varieties. And then she pulls out 2 pens, and she's like, do you want the melon one, or do you want the strawberry one?
Well, I think that I should take the melon, because if they read my letter, that means they'll be melancholy.
Yeah. Well, they'll be very. Do you know what? I'm not going to make the joke. And she puts the strawberry pen back.
Donate
And
now
hands
to
the
give
melon
Reese disadvantage.
She hands over the pen. Not at first, she doesn't get it, and then you notice about 3-4 seconds after you're holding it, she's.
What should I say? You're better at like. I just want to draw a little thumbs up, but I know that that's not sufficient.
I mean, how do you normally talk to them?
Hey, see you later. Not much. Bye. Mostly bye.
Okay, well, we can work with that. And Pan sort of sits back for a moment, gets out the like her little notebook on emojis just to have a look, sort of like so Reese doesn't see, just to check what the thumbs up exactly means, and then puts it back down again.
Means a thumbs up.
Literally, yeah, but she doesn't think of it like that. She doesn't She's like, she thinks this is some sort of code for something. If you couldn't see them again, what would you say?
I'd want them to know what I was doing so that they didn't think that I just like got pregnant and ran off and disappeared into the Everglades or something. Who knows what parents think? What do parents think?
I don't know, didn't know mine, and I'm not one. She sort of pauses for a moment as, well then. She sort of pauses for a minute. Is that over dramatic? Tell them you're saving the world.
Dear parents.
Do they have name mom and dad, or?
I call them parents and parent.
Okay, good. You can do that.
Dear parents, this is really hard. Emotions are hard.
Write that.
Emotions are hard. Period.
Give him a little thumbs up.
Thumbs up drawing.
Yep.
It basically just looks like an asterisk. It's just a mess of stuff. Scribbles. Just so you know, I've been saving the world. And if you're reading this, I didn't make it through trying to do that.
You can say you're with someone else, with a friend.
I'm with a
Throw in
friend.
doctor, people love it.
I'm with a scratches out friend. I'm with a doctor and writes doctor above it, friend. If she brings you this letter, give her pancakes.
Yeah, no, that's a good bit like that.
And love her like I love her. But I don't say that out loud. I just kind of scribble that down. Also, thanks for being my parents. I hope you will be
happy.
She's so awkward. Oh my god. Yeah, she literally paused, happy. That's the word. Happy. And that the world is safe.
Exactly. You can do another thumbs up if you want.
Thumbs up drawing.
Heart emoji.
Okay. She's like, I think I got an envelope in here somewhere. She sort of goes through and then hands an envelope over to Reese.
I rip out the paper and I put it in the envelope and I tuck it up and I just sit there with it for a second. And then I, do my mini wolf transformation where just my tongue becomes a wolf. And I just wolf lick the envelope and seal it, tuck it in the pocket, and then immediately devour everything in front of me. And I think that it goes into, because you said it was a really tall burger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like she goes into hybrid wolf transformation. So it's wolf jaws coming out to snap around it.
I'm sure.
I think that was good.
I'm pretty sure
you're
Pan
gonna cry.
positioned some of the menus to block what she was sure to be a massacre.
Pan eats a lot of food, but she just doesn't eat as fast. So she's like, and she just keeps going at a pace, a steady pace. But she eats probably about the same amount as Reese. It's just not as wolf-like. But I am a much older wolf.
Much older, yes.
As well,
and from a
so-
different country. I feel like that's also important.
Oh, she's
And from a different
British.
time.
Yeah, different time, hideously British.
Hideously British. You and your wellies and your arachnes.
It's an anorak and it's a good thing and everyone should have one.
I know. Was there anything else?
You think they're gonna cry when they read it?
And Pan sort of looks forward, is like, do you want them to? Then they won't.
They're good parents.
I mean, you literally put the thing at the end that says, "I hope you're happy."
Do you think that sounded maybe a little like teenage
I hope
sarcasm?
you're happy. I hope you're happy.
I was trying to save the world. I didn't make it. I hope you're happy.
You're happy.
I've realized that.
I go back and I
That's
like
not good,
rip
like-
open the envelope and I cross out happy and I'm like, I hope you will be happy.
And I pull out
Without-
sellotape to stop sticking the letter back
Oh,
together
God.
as you've
And
done it.
underneath, please adopt Pan instead.
Oh God.
Does Pan see that?
I don't know.
No,
Does she?
because I don't know. I think she's eating chips at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but she's very much like, yeah. See, no. That's much better. Very clear, cohesive, constructed well, and I can see a clear beginning, middle, and an end. That's how letters should work.
Mhm.
And express what you mean.
And it's in an
I'm-
envelope.
And it's in an envelope. She sort of like nods. I'm not too good at this sort of thing either. There's a reason. There's a reason. I've been on my own for over 90 years. But hey, we seem to be hanging out okay. Yeah.
I was on my own a lot too before, except for when I was surrounded by people who hated me. But now it's nice to be around people who tolerate me and maybe like me.
And looks as she sips that beer and I like you, Reese. No offense, I wouldn't hang around with you. I don't like you. That's not how it works, is it?
Sometimes, but you know, you're my friend, so I'm glad you like me. And as your
I feel like
friend,
these two are just so awkward. Sat in
yes,
It's like,
just so awkward. Yeah. Mhm. I feel like we are almost, you know, the like classic stereotype of male friendship where they just like meet at a bar, they drink a
Buddy.
thing, and they're like, yeah,
buddy,
hug,
bro.
distance hug. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's actually Pan and Reese, but like another flavor of it.
They keep clearing their throats to hide the tears.
Choking on burger.
Yeah, tries to drink the beer again, instantly regrets it. Yeah.
It's the onions. It's the onions.
You shouldn't come back here. We should go home
I don't want to
and
come
eat
back here.
pancakes.
I also don't want to get on a plane again, but I know we're gonna have to.
We could
That's
shift
the
and try and
bit.
run.
That's a long way to run, Reese.
It's a long way to run.
And I don't know America geography, but there might be water involved as well. So I think she downs that beer so that she'll get on a plane. And Pan doesn't drink. So yeah.
Well, right now, the plane's not due to leave until the morning.
Damn it, I just got drunk.
I know. So at least you'll sleep well.
Yeah.
Because it's pushing 10, there's not really many flights that leave that late, especially going back. So, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? I don't want to cut you off.
I think that was all Reese wanted. That was way in most. Oh, I mean, there's like the tome and the mysteries. Can we look at it?
This is just sat there. It's got like the fries propped up on top. Yeah.
You do
Yeah,
open
Pan
it,
should
and it is.
eventually open it.
It's not in English.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's
It's definitely probably something Aminata and Malkin are probably gonna have to
Mhm.
go through and figure out.
We
You
only
know
got a
that-
couple grease stains on it. It's fine.
I mean, if it even
artifacts.
can, you can. It definitely, like holding it, feels cold to the touch, which is very disconcerting, especially in the humid heat
So
that is
hug
the
him up.
Everglades. To feel a leather-bound book feel so ice cold. It's almost uncomfortable to hold. And going through it, there are some pictograms. A lot of it's in a myriad of languages. Latin, Greek. There's Sumerian. There's some Chinese in it, even. Some you might even discern a little bit as French and Spanish, as if it's almost been keeping history over a long period of time and ever changing and morphing, or being, held by different hands. But that's about as much as you can discern. But at least you have it in your possession, and you know that Aminata and hopefully Malkin and the others in the library will be able to pull more information from. But you finish up your feast. I won't make you roll constitution saving throws. Pan with the warm beer in her belly, Reese with the warm everything she ate in her belly. You head back to the motel, and you both have a difficulty falling asleep. Both hurting pretty bad, not only from the physical pain that you experience, but the intense heat of the wolf inside you trying to burn away the contact that you've had with that corrupted creature. You watch kind of like that black ichor seeping out of the pores of the wounds, being pushed from your body. But eventually exhaustion takes over and pulls you into a deep sleep. At first, there are no dreams, just dark as your mind tries to heal your body. But like ebbing waves, a sense of sadness creeps into your slumber. And like the first star appearing in a black night begins to shine, you are pulled forward out of the darkness into a field. You both stand there, unaware of what is happening, but seeing each other as if you were physically present, the wounds of the previous battle visible on each other's skin. Before you lies the epicenter of the corruption that took hold after the tainted Rugaru was defeated. And you feel the strength of being pulled from you like a black hole feasting on a dying star. It's cold, and you just feel exhausted. But from behind you, you hear a familiar voice as Jay gently calls to you both. Hey, you two troublemakers. Her face is sullen. She's wearing a loose-fitting pair of jeans and a white t-shirt. Her hair is down, and her feet are bare. She takes a ragged breath in the cold. I don't have much time. I hope you can both forgive me. First, I hope you also know that none of this is your fault. And she gestures to the corruption around her. Marius would have found a way to do this with or without you. What you did, it saved so many lives. I couldn't be more proud. But what I have to do, it's the only way to save the pack. To ensure we go on being able to fight the evil coming through the veil. To ensure we are strong with the coming fight against Marius and the corruption. Aminata wasn't lying when she said that the stone that she sent you to get would help cleanse the corruption. But I think I knew before she did what had to be done. The liking came to me. I could see the sadness in her eyes. It's not just enough to halt the spread. You have to burn it away. My spark, the little extra power I have as the alpha. And she kind of takes this shaky breath as she could see her eyes begin to water. I don't have a lot of time. I'm so thankful that I could have this brief moment with you two. Reese, the warrior, the ever protector, so selfless and compassionate. You look at the world with such a playful energy. Thank you for trusting me as you have. Don't lose that part of you. The pack will need that joy, that strength now more than anything. And Pan, as she turns to you, you see not the powerful alpha, but just the friend who in this moment lets her strong persona slip ever so slightly, showing the vulnerability underneath. Her voice cracks a little. Don't be afraid of the power within you. It's always been there. Even before the war, before the pack, before the Lycan. That strength to run in when no one else will, to throw safety to the wind, to stand firm in front of those you love and care for. It's what makes the connection between you and Reese so strong. What you two wouldn't do for those you love. Let that power burn. Let it burn so bright that others need to shield their eyes from it. Marius is just a cog in a greater machine. Find him, defeat him. I wish I could see it. The day you make him pay for what he did here. The day you bring him into the light of the moon. She turns away from both of you and she pulls out a good-sized, looks like a mason jar, of a purple hued powder that gleams silver in the light, and you recognize this as the stone that you pulled from the cave that has been ground down into a fine dust. She goes to the center where the corruption is the strongest, and even you can both feel it. Every step she takes is labored. And she kneels down and pours the powder into the center, and she lights it. It goes off like sulfur. Its purple smoke swirls and turns as that silver sheen that you saw comes ever so brighter. Blinding, almost. And her eyes shine like that animalistic glow. And her canines grow, and she stands, and as she stands, she almost hovers as around her body, the spectral image, that same blinding silver just circles around her. And she locks eyes with you both. She goes, I believe in you. As the hands glow and her chest glows, she slams them into the ground. And as she does, this cacophonous sound like an explosion, blinding light shoots out, and both of you bolt awake. It's morning in your motel.
Did we stay in like the same room, or are we in two separate ones like next door to each other?
That's up to you. Do you feel that you would share a room, or would you want your own separate rooms?
I feel like we probably would have gotten one together. Seems cost effective.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're only
Cost-effective.
staying for one. I think Pan probably sits
Okay.
bolt upright and looks towards Reese, very, very wide-eyed.
Reese has one picturesque tear going down her cheek.
And I don't think Pan says anything, because I think she can tell that Reese saw it as well, like a confirmation. And she immediately starts packing her bag, because Pan has this thing where it kicks in because of everything she's dealt with when she was younger. If anything, right now she's riding off adrenaline, is not happy, but she's packing her bag, she's grabbing the tome, she's like, we need to go home now.
You
Reese-
pack your oh, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say Reese picks up her bag because it's packed because it just had a t-shirt in it, I think.
Sounds about right. You pack your bag. Doesn't take you very long. You head out. It's pretty early. You're able to switch your flight to an earlier flight. The flight is uneventful. When you land in Denver, Lucy is there to pick you up. And you know by the look on her face that whatever you saw in your dream was something that happened. And she drives you back to Silver Hollow. And it's quiet. And it's almost strange seeing Jay's Diner closed for the first time. But what you notice is that where there were tendrils of that corruption spreading throughout the town, slowly killing off whatever it touches or turning whatever it touches, you see it almost ashen, and from those ashen you start to see life growing ever so slightly. And you know that whatever corruption was here was burned away, and that the exertion itself, it was a sacrifice Jay was willing to make. It's one she's proud of.
She did it.
And Pan nods. And Pan's probably got a bit of a weird face on her. If anyone... I doubt if even Reese would have seen this, because it hasn't happened in so many years. It's a very plain, kind of almost shell-shocked face. It's sort of as if like processing information, so there's no emotion there. There's no, at least not visible. It's the same look she had when she first came back from the war. And it's almost like everything's matter of fact, trying to work out what to do now. Because she knows all the emotions will hit her later, but right now, she doesn't know what to do.
Reese
There is
probably notices. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, Reese probably would notice that, but probably wouldn't say anything, and is just gonna like grab the letter out of her pocket and just like hold it, and maybe like scooch a little closer to Pan so that we're like sitting right next to each other.
Yeah, Pan just sort of probably scoots closer as well, but again, just stares dead forward.
Aminata comes to you both, kind of fills in the gaps a little bit, and they plan a memorial of sorts, and it takes a couple days. You know, you both take that time to both heal and process everything that happened. Is there anything you both would like to do in those few days?
Hannah go home for a moment.
Okay.
She probably sleeps in her office now, but there will be a day when she's thinking of this person, this effectively this demon that we have to get rid of, have to destroy. And I think she's probably quiet for quite a while, but she'll go home. She will go to her tiny apartment where it's a kitchen and this tiny little dining room table which literally fits one person in it. And she'll go to the cupboard underneath the sink, and behind that is another cupboard which is got loads of jam jars and everything that's stacked up. There's a light that she doesn't really think about it. As she opens it, she crashes it, and this clatter of glass, and she reaches in and takes out a box that she's had for so long and just taken with her wherever she went, wherever she moved, and probably take a deep breath and sit down at this tiny little dining room table, which seats one on this plastic chair, and opens it. And in it are her medals. There's a photo of her and her comrades who died in the First World War with her. But there's also her old service revolver, fully loaded, and she pockets it straight away. Adds it to her satchel of many things. She doesn't do weapons. And I think she looks at it for a long time because she said she would never use one again. But since coming back home, she checks it. She knows how to use it. In fact, she moves it very as if it's one of the most natural things to her. But first she puts it in her doctor's satchel. But instead she throws on one of her old army jackets that she's kept as well. Wasn't hers. It was one of her friends. It's in the photo. And she puts it on an inside pocket in there. And that's what she puts on. And we'll head back straight to the doctor's surgery and get on with her work.
Okay. So Pen's keeping herself busy. Reese, is there anything you wanted to do in the few days?
I want to walk Jazzy a bunch.
Okay.
It's
been a while.
Yep. You know, walk Jazzy a bunch and spend a bunch of time with her. But come home like earlier than I usually do. And upon seeing my parents at the kitchen table, I will walk in. I'm picturing like, you know, little kitchen table, dining room. I walk in the back door. I'd just been out all day with Jazzy or whatever, but I just walk in and I kind of like lower my shoulders a little bit and like push my hair back in a very awkward way. And I'm just gonna be like, hi, Mom and Mother. And then like immediately curl up again and just like almost walk out of the room. I hope you had a nice day and that you are happy. And I have love for you, both of you. And then she's gonna take a big old step towards the door and like spin around and attempt to leave without further interaction.
I think before you leave, one of your moms will put a hand on your shoulder and just kind of turn you slowly and just give you a hug.
I imagine I'm much taller than them.
Yes.
So I just sort of pat.
Yeah.
Forehead.
And they'll kind of give you like a knowing look, because let's face it, it's hard to hide shit from parents. And just say, just be safe today, okay? And she'll let you go.
You too. Thanks. Bye. And slink out of the room.
Slink out of the room.
Yeah.
A couple days after, you know, the memorial, as things kind of start to settle down, Jay Steiner does eventually reopen. This time the head chef's just kind of doing his best to keep the doors open. Aminata comes to you both kind of begrudgingly and says, listen, I know that we're all still trying to process everything that happened, but unfortunately things are still happening and things still need to be handled and taken care of. And though we've dealt with the corruption, there's still some things that need to be done, and there's still an effect that it had on the town. With everything, it kind of weakened the veil a little bit, and a parasite of sorts was able to take hold on the outskirts of the town, and it's nesting And in doing so, it's infecting a lot of the animals that are around it and a lot of the wildlife, and they're kind of being taken over. We've had a couple of bears and such that are just covered in this kind of fungus and spore, and we really need to take care of that before it keeps spreading. I've called in some help here, and she'll lead you into a room where we'll see Hendrix and Q. Do you both want to describe yourselves?
Sure. I'll go, I guess. Q is a not extremely tall, but maybe like 5'11", sort of average height, average build, fairly androgynous, short hair, little slick back, wearing nicely presented, sort of practical, comfy, outdoorsy, your muted colors LL Bean clothes. They are they're the coat, which doesn't really hide the fact that they are carrying a sword. And as you come in, they just nod at you and look expectantly.
What kind of sword is it? Are we able to tell?
The hilt of it looks, it's got sort of a fancy look to it. You can't tell a whole lot about it, like in the scabbard, but there's like a little, like a not a jewel, but a stone that's set in the pommel. There's a few things like that. It looks, but not just ornamental, useful. It's probably didn't get picked up at Ren Fair. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Hendrix.
Next to them, you see a big, tall man, 6'5" or 2 meters for those of you not in the United States, with a determined face. He is wearing basically a paramilitary outfit, kind of the cargo pants, a little bit of camouflage on him, a black t-shirt with his arms just filling out the entire shirt, has some tattoos on the arms, some military look, bright red haircut cut in a military buzz cut, narrow little blue eyes, jutting eyebrows, and a thick neck with a face that looks like it was smashed flat. And he's just sitting there, very determined looking.
Salmanana says, I called in some reinforcements. I know that we're still a little bit recovering from everything that's happened. Good news is once we just have to, if we can get rid of the hive, we can burn the hive, then we can at least stop the spread of the infection, and hopefully it will be simple. We have some help here, and she'll give you a couple things, a couple of like flares that you can light, a couple of containers of accelerant to hopefully guide your way, and a map of where they've discovered where the hive is. And she kind of just looks at both of you as she's taking on a mantle that she was hoping she never had to take on again. And she nods at both of you and she's just, hopefully it'll be quick, and then we can get back to getting this son of a bitch off our plane. And that's where we're gonna go on a break. I think would be a great time for a break. Kiss your pets, love your water, take bios, that thing. I know how to do it, but I refuse to do it properly because it's way more funny my way.
I'm gonna leave it at that, so I'm not even gonna repeat it. So yeah, we'll see you all in a second.
Yay.
Bye.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm just going to pop in that deck of many link for you again. Get hype about the Kickstarter. Within 24 hours, it has been fully funded, and it looks like it's soaring for the moon. At the moment, we are approaching their last declared stretch goal of $200,000. In fact, we're only 13 grand away from it, so GG everyone, great push. I hope you'll head over and check it out. The unlockable thing for $20,000 is they'll be making a deck of many animated Humblewood spell cards. Hang on, let me get the thing up here. Let me get the thing up so I can do Humblewood spells. They'll make 30 new animated spell cards based on the Humblewood campaign. So check that out.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had fun on your kissing puppies, bios, drink water, breathing.
Sorry. Hope you had fun breathing there.
Listen, I'm ready for a nap. I'm very tired. I'm very sad. So we left off with Aminata, our previous pack alpha and now semi-acting alpha now, charging Pan and Reese with another task, unfortunately, as we can, shit happens, but we still got work to do. But at least she called in some reinforcements in the form of Hendrix and Q to go and defeat or to rid a hive that has taken root in the outskirts. All right, let's take it away because I obviously can't speak. So you have supplies, and you've been introduced to your two compatriots. What do you do now?
So I imagine Hendrix stands up
He
at
does.
some point, and I think.
Varian stands up and up and up and.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Although you're pretty tall.
Yeah, but I don't know if Reese has met someone taller than her in a while. So, Q, for your reference, Reese is just Slender Man if Slender Man was an Asian girl, and very long, slender, skinny, kind of creepy, long black hair that falls over her face. So when Hendrix stands up, she'll just kind of peer up for the first time, and this actually causes her to straighten up, but she's usually slouching, and she'll just be like, Aminata, your reinforcements are kind of more sturdy looking than some of the other ones that Jay used to get. That's good.
Well, no offense, and she'll look over to Hendrix. A different tool for every project.
Yes, I'm Hendrix. I don't think we've met.
I'm Reese.
It's a pleasure to meet you. And your lovely little friend here.
Wait, does he say this to Pan?
Yes.
Oh, did you say you were an army guy?
I did not say that. Oh, I said out. Yeah, he didn't say that, but he
No,
is.
but
He
you
looks
look-
like a military guy. Yes.
Would she pull rank? I don't know, is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't think she would. I think
In her current mood,
at
with her
little,
revolver.
at little, she just tries to stand up. She's a real tall 5'3", and she tries to stand up and puff her chest out a little bit, hands behind her back, and it's like, not small.
I meant no offense.
I know.
I'm not.
You can tell
I'm not-
this may not be her normal mood.
Anyway, this is Q.
Thank you.
I think Pan holds a hand out. It's like, Pan? And she will hold one out to Hendrix as well. Say the same.
Yeah, big meaty hand.
Tiny little
Shake your hand. It's awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll shake Q's hand. Hand's tiny compared to Hendrix, so it's gonna be like an engulfed.
2 fingers.
Yeah, there we go. But Pan nods to both of them. I think Reese would probably notice she's not as when I say energetic, just not as chatty as normal, but it's more because she's trying to work out who these people are, because she's worked with Jay now for so long. So
Well, you good with that sword?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry for your loss. I understand that was recent. But I am here to help with my sword.
Thank you. That's my favorite kind of help.
Yes, we understand there's I guess the term parasite was thrown around.
You know, Same old. Something new every week. It's fine. This week is very new though because Jay's not here, so that's different. And then Reese will just automatically just like do a complete 180 and just turn around and get ready to walk out the door.
Oh, I'll follow.
Anne will try to smile but it's a really weird, it's like when a dog bares its teeth kind of smile.
Like
because
a
she doesn't know what
Reese
to do. And she, like a Reese smile. It looks a lot like a Reese smile for a moment because she's not feeling great. So it's obvious it's a forced smile. The effort's there, but then she turns and follows Reese because she's like, oh god, I just did a Reese smile and leaves.
Yeah. And so you have a map it's about 20-25 miles outside of Silver Hollow. I believe that Hendrix has a very snazzy Humvee that both Reese and Pan could go along with. If there's not room in there, then I don't know what you've done to that Humvee.
Yeah, it's plenty big.
Yeah.
Just watch out for the cat.
You
There's a cat?
Like an actual cat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's my travel companion.
Nice.
She.
And Amanada would have given you the information kind of how it works. The hive mind kind of controls a lot of whatever they've infected, and so to really do any damage you have to kill that nest queen is what she calls it. And with most fungus and things, don't eat it, don't inhale it, burn it, cleanse it, and get out. So you all pile into the Humvee. You start traveling north out of town. It's paved road for about the first 10 miles, and then you start hitting kind of the back dirt roads to get up. And as you get closer to your mark or your GPS coordinates, whichever you'd like, you start to notice kind of these fungal spores growing off of the tree trunks in these kind of neon colors. It's not like, a nice dew where you have like the pretty white mushrooms that you can collect and actually cook and eat. It's just these have very strange, and how the brighter the color, the more dangerous the foe kind of thing. As you get closer, you start to see more of these iridescent and neon yellow and greens and reds as these fungi grow out of the tree. It would be very pretty, if not so alarming. And we would say it's probably about 11 o'clock in the morning. Sun's starting to get highest into the sky as you travel deeper into the woods to the north of Silver Hollow. You do reach a point where you will have to go on foot as the Humvee can't travel through the dense forest any longer. Once you're out, you probably have like another 3/4 of a mile before you start reaching the cave systems. You all have had some experience of the caves to the east of the town when you had come into contact with the Whispers previously to get the amethyst type stone. And as you do, you start to see kind of like a lot of the animals that have been infected. So you see a squirrel that instead of an eye has like a mushroom growing out of it, and its jaw is kind of broken and slack to the side, and it kind of squeals at you and then runs away. And then you see in the distance like a deer that's horn, one of its antlers has been infected as well. And you get the sense you're reaching your destination.
It's nice to see some color. Usually the things we fight are all like darkness, corrupted, scary.
Man looks over towards Reese. She says this like, Well, I don't think the color's so good here, but I get what you mean.
It's like fighting rainbows this time.
That squirrel was a little disturbing.
Really, all squirrels are a little disturbing.
He's not wrong. They're gonna take over the world. We know it.
Always plotting something.
They're always plotting.
Mhm.
Don't mess with the squirrels.
When Hendrix did get out of the
it-
Humvee, I just FYI, he would have got all his gear on. So he's literally like full armored jacket, assault
metal jacket?
rifle. Basically, yes.
doesn't
And he's
seem to
got
have
just
any-
gadgets, everything.
Q does not seem to be carrying anything else except the sword, which you have to take off in the car. But yeah, they get out and arrange that, and they probably have pockets, right? But they're good. That's it.
And he would have said, "Watch the car, Lucy."
I look for Lucy in the car.
Yeah.
You see
Give
you
Lucy
see a
little
cat.
stretches.
Big 20-pound gray tomcat.
Nice.
Jesus, that's so big. It's just chilling on the steering wheel at this
Love
point.
her.
Does
I leave the windows
any
cracked.
of this? Is that a
ahead,
good
Reese.
idea with a parasite around? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I think
That'll
I'm
be
lagging a little
fine.
bit. So
I put
Oh
a
my
little
gosh.
mask on her.
perfect. Is there any like scent to this flora? Like
This-
weird scents at all?
This flora and fauna.
I don't
Um,
know if there. I guess the squirrel would have been the fauna, but yeah,
I'm
not gonna smell.
I
the
think
squirrel.
that's a great time for an investigative mystery.
Oh, okay. I can do that. I have no sharp.
I believe in you.
Thank you. I am going to roll 2d6. 2d6 plus 0 is a 7.
That's a mixed success. So with your allowing your wolf-like abilities come to the forefront, we'll say that your face elongates a little bit as more of your wolf form takes on, and you start to smell a very pungent odor, and almost as if the scent itself starts to sharpen your other senses. Your eyes start to focus, and you can almost see on these trees that are growing that kind of fungus. You start to see them kind of puffing every once in a while as a little bit more of that spore dust releases, especially when something gets close to it. And definitely getting the sense that it can be harmful if inhaled.
I feel like I'm like sniffing my snout towards it, and then I'll see it like puff up, and I'll do like a very like dog like snarl.
Mhm.
Yep.
Gotcha. We'll say that you're able to pull back before you can really inhale it. But you definitely start to see the fungus, and the smell gets much stronger further north towards the end of your map. Ooh. Do you all start moving closer?
As we move in, I'll pull out some kind of scarf or mask or something to, just sort of put around. Just, it probably wouldn't be that effective, but at least against major dust or spores in the air might do something.
Okay.
Yeah, Hendrix would do the same.
I assume Hendrix probably has some crazy ass gas mask.
He left that in the Humvee, unfortunately, but he's got it like like those neckerchief things, those heavy neckerchief things they wear in the military. Pulls it up
Yep.
over his nose.
Got it. And
Reese
Pan.
will, sorry, just real quick.
Nope, go ahead.
Like,
Yep.
as everyone starts to move off and like mask up, Reese will recede her like snout back into her face, and she'll just kind of think to herself, they said burn it, and so she's gonna pull out a joint and she's just gonna start smoking it. And anytime any of those spores come near her, she's just gonna blow smoke at it and just be like,
Okay.
walk along, do the thing.
Blowing smoke at it. Don't really know if that's burning it, but you know, hey.
Get it
Trying
away
to
from
fight-
my face.
Fight smoke with smoke. I see how it is.
Yeah. That's
You
what they
puff
tell
at
you
me,
to
I'm
do.
puffing at you.
I take note of this and say nothing, but just like
Gives a whole new
I don't know
name
your
to
system.
puff pass.
So.
So as you go closer, you start to see an opening in the mountain where you could see the fresh fungi and moss kind of growing around it. And Reese, you still smell that same kind of fungal growth that you were smelling coming in. But now it's kind of mixed with a very earthy undertone of like of wet fur that you associate with wildlife, like a bear. And it's coming from
something-
inside the cave.
I'll like loom over Pan and just say, can you smell that? It smells like something moist and furry, and it's not me.
Moist.
And I'm assuming that Pam would or would she?
Smell it as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once Reese draws attention to it, you try to really hone in that sense.
Yeah, her nose twitches a few times and it sort of wrinkles like a sort of smell, but she nods up to Reese just like, yep. It's not a good smell. And she sort of pulled, she doesn't have a mask or anything, but she's pulled her jumper up over her nose, so you're currently talking to her when she's got that just like, yep, as she's moving.
Okay.
I'll shift into wolf claws at least, and wolf teeth.
Wolf claws?
But not full thing. Yeah.
As
Wolf
I
weapon.
see them,
Terrifying.
as I see them doing
ahead,
this,
Q.
and we're walking into a dark cave, right? We're walking into a dark cave. Okay, yeah. So we're doing that, and I see them, I go to draw my sword, which is a flaming sword. So it's noticeable, and it provides some light, I imagine. Not a huge amount, but it is definitely, it stands out. So
Yeah. It emits like a soft glow. And you even see that the fungus that is closest to you almost start to recoil a little bit at the divine light and the heat coming from your flaming sword. Do we enter into the cave, or were there any other preparations you wanted to do before entering into this cave system?
Pan definitely stops for a minute and looks at the flaming sword like, did not expect that to come out. Like, oh. And then probably doesn't change or anything, but walks right next to
Q just kind of shrugs,
Reese, if
like,
not maybe one
yeah,
step.
I have a flaming.
Coated
Oh,
in
no,
pure
I've
rock.
seen
Right
more
at a
that it's
Ren
more
fair.
that it's impressive. What
Yeah,
kind of red fair
all I
was
can do is
this?
just kind of shrug, like, that's. Yep.
Hendrix would shoulder the
they just,
assault rifle. No,
Okay.
Hendrix would shoulder his assault rifle and like swing over this other smaller compact weapon. Looks like a futuristic looking shotgun with a side pulley to discharge the shells, and starts to load up these red colored shells into it. Close
Okay.
quarters.
Close
Who
quarters.
wants to go in first? Shall I lead?
I'll
Is
go
Reese
in
already gone? I
first.
thought
Yeah.
Pan will
I can go.
I think
close
Reese
to
was.
after everything, but
Okay, so Reese is going to go in first.
Yes.
Is that what I heard?
Pan will stay
Reese
close to Reese. Yeah, Pan will go stay afterwards.
Okay, and then Pan's close to Reese, followed by Hendrix and Q, I assume.
Yeah, I can, like,
If someone
wanna
else
be in
taking
the
the
back?
lead, I'll take the rear.
okay,
Watch our back.
I'll be third.
And I'm taller
Okay.
too. I can like shoot over people.
Got it. All right, you enter in, illuminated slightly by the flaming sword. And as you go further into this cave, you do start to see a glow at the end of it, as you just see all across this kind of algae and fungus gives off a bright bioluminescence. And as you quietly make your way through, you see that at the center this giant looking like weird brain made out of like mushroom heads almost, as it kind of just it breathes and molds as it just kind of inflates and deflates, but in a way that you kind of like your heart would, like different valves moving it, like, so it's not just one in out, it's like in different sections of it. It's really gross. And every time it kind of hits that like third or fourth one, it will kind of spew a little bit more spore, and you see kind of other woodland animals either being brought in dead and kind of laid next to it to kind of be reanimated with this puff of fungus smoke, or it's being patrolled by these two giant bears that are now more spore and fungus than they are bear, as their jaws kind of hang slack, and out of their you see patches of fur, but instead you also see like these mushroom heads and these spores just growing out, as they lock eyes with all four of you. What do you do? We'll say that you sneaking in, you would get advantage on them. Not like advantage, but like, you know, you'll hit them first.
Do the bears lunge
Throw
towards
my
us, or are they just
Joint
watching us?
roach at it.
The bears don't lunge at you yet. They start circling in front of the hive spore nest thing, and kind of get into like a crouched stance, and start kind of like slowly making their way towards you, hoping that maybe either you'll back off and leave, or seeing what you'll do before attacking. Bear with all of us here, folks. I think all of our internet is lagging a little bit, so bear with us as we're trying to just live through it.
We talk over each other constantly.
Yes. Yeah, it's just because it's
I
lagging.
throw
and
my
we're not
joy
catching
roach at
until
it?
Too late. At what?
At the bear?
Bear or
at the mushroom brain.
At one of the
mushroom
bears?
brain for sure. No, at the mushroom brain.
You throw your roach. You're gonna ruin a roach by throwing it at the mushroom brain? All right.
They said burn it.
Let's say, yeah. Let's say that's an act under pressure roll. Because I want to see how accurate you are with it. I don't think it's so
Sweet.
much a tough, but like how accurate you are in
That
this
is
moment.
my best thing.
And Q, what were you doing?
Nice.
I was just going to
Did we lose
lean
Q?
and say bears first. No, I'm here. No?
Okay,
Uh-oh.
there you go. You were frozen for a second. I'm like, where'd you go?
Oh, sorry.
Alright, so bears first.
I
So-
don't know. Sorry about that.
you're good.
Yeah, bears first. Yeah.
Lily, that was an 8. So you do hit it, and it kind of like spasms a little bit. Now, I will say that it gives it a 1 harm. It's a roach. It's not going to be like go up in flames by like something that's like that big.
That's fair.
And Q is going to go after the bears first, or was she asking?
Some Purell on
Or
it
are they
first.
asking?
I was asking to see if there was an unspoken plan that I somehow missed, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. So if nobody says no, I'm going for a bear.
Gotcha. Let's see. Reese had technically attacked the hive brain, but the bears are encroaching on you, and at the sight of Reese burning its queen, they do start running at both of you. Both bears start running at all of you. There we go.
That seems like the
so
most
we will
immediate
go
problem,
in.
So I would.
All right. Q, would you like to attack one of these bears?
I would like to attack.
There's
one
no
of these
initiative
bears.
order, so it's
but
just.
I guess. Right. Did I roll kick some ass? I assume.
You got
that
it.
is an 8 plus 2, so 10.
Perfect. So on a super awesome success for kick some ass, you get to do the damage, and you're doing it with your flaming sword.
Yes.
Correct.
Excellent.
Excellent. And can you tell me how much?
It's a 3 harm hand fire holy. That's what it
Fire
says.
holy. Perfect. Okay. So
I'm right up. I'm in melee with the bear.
got it. So the wonderful thing about Monster of the Week is that whatever harm you dish out, you also take. So you dish out, you lash out with your flaming sword. You can choose from one of these. Okay. And you can either gain advantage. So moving forward, you can take a +1 to your rolls, or you can give a +1 to a fellow hunter. You can either inflict terrible harm, so you would add another harm to your sword, so you would deal 4 harm. You would suffer 1 less harm, or you force the enemy where you want them. So those are the options that you have.
Okay. So I hold on to that for the future, or I do it right now?
It's up to you. You've
Okay.
succeeded in the roll, and you've done a great success because you had a 10 or higher. And so
Okay.
you automatically do the 3 harm
Mhm.
to the bear, but you can also choose either to take 1 for yourself moving forward, to give a +1, or to help out another hunter. You can choose right now to inflict an extra harm to make it 4. You can choose to take 1 less harm because the bear is going to hit you back, or you can force their movement to go to some place that you want them to go.
Okay. I think I'm going to give a +1 to someone else. Part of my gear is I have divine armor that gives me one armor holy, so I guess that helps alleviate some of the damage.
Right. Okay, so you deal 3 harm, and who are you giving that +1 to?
I'm going to. I don't know exactly what they do, but I'm going to give it to Pan.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what her job is. Q doesn't know. It's like, get the what?
Could everyone check the
Chat.
Zoom chat for me, just quickly, please?
Chat, please.
Yeah. Right. So is it Pan's go on that after watching Q attack?
Yes, and Q, you will take 1 harm. Since you have an armor, you take 1 harm. So check a box for 1 harm.
Okay.
All right, Pan, go ahead. You see the bear
Okay.
lunge at Q. Q draws their flaming sword and slices through the bear, dealing it harm. It recoils from that kind of divine flame as it slashed at her with one of its claws, giving her a single harm. The other bear is looking to flank the other side of y'all, because I think it's Reese, you, Q, so Q would have moved up. And then you have the hive nest in the back.
Okay. Question to Q. The sword you have, does it the divine flame, could someone light something off of it and then it goes out, or would I know that is literally just on this sword?
That seems like a GM call. I mean, flaming sword is what it says. It will burn stuff. So I suppose
assume
I
it
could
could be-
lightly burn something.
Yeah, I assume that it could probably light something.
Yeah, if anything, Pan is taking a massive wad of that paper that she keeps in her pack, and as Reese has always told her, pours the Purell all over it and tries to ignite it on the sword, and is just jamming it towards where this like brain sort of infestation is.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't know what role that is. Like,
I think that is also a cool roll. That's an act under pressure roll.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion.
Q
you
won't
also have a plus
resist
one.
What was
that.
that?
We'll see what you're doing. Yeah, you get a +1.
A +1. And what was the actual stat for that one again? Sorry, guys.
What?
The stat for it.
Oh, cool.
That's it. Cool. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're all struggling, y'all. We're all struggling with the leg.
12.
12. Okay.
12.
So, you
Pan is angry.
like a bamf, just narrow into like, you just completely focus and tune out everything that's going on, and you woo! Thanks to the rain
Raiders.
and the heart attack.
Wait.
And you throw this wad of paper and Purell. I swear, Purell makes it in every single one of our games, and you lodge it into this hive brain, and it just screams. We'll say that is, I'd say a bomb is like 5. I'm gonna say that's a 5 harm. And as it screams and shudders, part of it ignites, but it's the other half of it still stands or still is intact. But you notice that every time that at that scream that the bears in front of you almost like recoil a bit as that bond is threatened. And I'll say that the bears also take another harm. We're fine. We're doing great. Who is next in this initiative? Henrix, what are you doing?
If I've got a clear path to the hive brain, I don't know if there's a bear directly in the way or not. I would like to make my way to it.
Okay. I'll say you can do so. There's not really an attack of opportunity in this game from what I know of. So we'll say that you can easily maneuver and make it towards the hive brain.
Okay. And with the flame rounds that I added to my shotgun, I'd like to take some blasts at it with red hot magnesium pellets which shoot out of this shotgun.
Nice. Roll to kick some ass.
going to be 8.
8. Okay, and how much harm does your shotgun do?
Three harm, close, messy.
It should say next to your page, the shot. 3 harm. Awesome. So you deal out 3 harm. What does it look like when you aim the shotgun and you fire? What kind of imagery do you want this to be?
There's a white, hot gout of flame that shoots out about almost 6 feet out from this shotgun in just a blast of fire, and molten hot magnesium pellets embed itself into this hive brain.
All right. As you do, the hive brain kind of shifts, and out from it recoils like a vine arm as it hits you square in the chest, kind of like a punch, dealing you 3 harm. I believe you have armor on, though. Do you have a single armor on?
I have combat armor, which is 2 armor.
2 armor. Then you take a single harm as the vine kind of hits you right in the chest, almost like a bullet, pushing you back and knocking the wind out of you a little bit. But it screams at you with this almost otherworldly like shriek as the whole thing starts to like shudder and spasm, and you see that echo in the bears that are attacking, and one turns to you and starts coming at you while one stays with Q, Pan, and Reese. I believe we're Reese, what are you doing?
Okay.
Good job.
So
Did some
I'm
nasty
still
damage
going
to
for...
it. It's pissed.
I'm still going for the big one because Amanada was like, you got to get the core thing. So I'm just ignoring the bears. Like, I'm a wolf. I don't have time to mess with bears. So I would like to do a thing. So you tell me what you think of this thing. There's a bonfire. Yeah. I would like to liberally slather my wolf hands in Purell, and then I want to dip them in the fire and hopefully take a harm, because that'll give me another +1. And I want flaming Purell hands to go and claw at the elder brain. And, you know, my face like warps like this when I do it.
Okay. You will take an extra harm on top of
Cool, that's fine.
on top of whatever harm this elder brain will do.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think you need to roll to light
Listen,
yourself
Reese
on
is in
fire.
a weird place right now, okay?
Oh,
Good.
that's valid. We all
Feeling the
cope
emotion.
differently. So we're just gonna do a straight kick some ass roll to slash at the elder brain with Purell flaming claws. So you shift fully into your wolf form, or is this just the claws that you've kind of let come forward in your hybrid form?
So picture Reese as a human, very tall, slender, gangly, with these big, fat, chonky werewolf hands. So that's that. 2d6 plus 3, and I roll 11.
All right, that is a huge success. Your claws do
Yay.
2 harm, and I'll add another harm with the fire, so they'll do 3 harm, and it will take all 3 harm because they're all on fire, and you will You will take a harm from the fire that your armor is not going to protect you against. So you get that harm. And you take another 2 harm from the elder brain, the brain shooting out at you. So 1 you can't escape, and 2 that will be down from your armor. Jesus. Cool. Flaming harm. Sure.
Sweet. So just picture
all right. The elder brain
Slenderman with a long black hair crouched over on the thing. The end.
Ooh. All right, and with that, it shudders its butts, and you see it again echoed in the bears, as the brain itself is now heavily on fire, and it starts to damage the bears, but the bears themselves aren't just going down with the brain. It's just now they're just, the hits that you've made on it are starting to show a little bit more on their skin. As one will run at Pan and try to slice at you, Pan. It's a little crazed. And we'll go up to the top where we started from. Q, what would you like to do?
I guess, how bad does the bear look now that it's taken some damage from the brain damage?
Brain damage. It's looking pretty hurt now. It's like almost as if the spores themselves were giving it a little bit more armor, making it a little tougher, and it from the brain taking that fire damage that it's been dealt the past few rounds, that spore is almost like sloughing off, revealing like a very vulnerable skin underneath. It's not happy.
Okay. And there's 2 bears, right? So, I think seeing that I can hurt the bear by hurting the brain, I'm going to pivot over to stab at the brain.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a kick
11,
smash
so
roll.
13. Good.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Nice. That is a huge success.
13 total. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so you spin your sword around and you come slashing down with the flame and divine nature of it. And this brain, describe to me how you would kill this brain. Because you're going to do a hefty amount of damage to it.
Yeah,
it's on fire at this point, so it's very vulnerable.
I turn right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I turn away from the bear, turn towards the brain, and just like holding it like this, just drive the sword as deep into the brain as I can. It just crackling fire all the way. And as I move to do that, if you look at me around the corner of your eye, you can see like the flicker of the sort of almost spectral armor that I have. That's almost like it's made of some kind of energy or something that protects me from a little bit of the backlash I'm probably fixing to get. So.
Sure are. As you cleave through it, it almost pops like a balloon, but have you ever heard like one of those giant balloons or like a tire pop? It's like a boom. And as it does, like the spore dust just goes everywhere and it knocks you back. And you take 2 harm, which I believe is reduced to 1 because of your armor. And the bears, at this point, they're still up and standing. They look more vulnerable now, but now they seem in like a frenzied state. start going after UQ. So it's there's a bear on Q and a bear on Q. It's bear on Q, and a bear on Pan, as they try to lash out in a frenzied nature. And I'll say both of you would take 1 harm, but your armor blocks it. So it just punches you, leaving a bruise, but frenzied and in your face. A lot of the smaller creatures that were affected by this start to skitter away as some of the fungi start to slough off with the flames. But there's still a danger there as these 2 spore bears stand before you. Hendrix, I believe it is your turn.
All right. So we've got a bear going after Pan. I would like to go after that bear, please, with another blast of the shotgun.
All right, go
at
ahead
its
and roll
flank.
to kick some ass. Nice. Okay.
That's better. That is going to be a 9.
Okay. So you do succeed,
And again,
and that is
that's,
a 3 harm,
3
correct?
harm.
The shotgun is? Yeah, 3 harm close messy. Perfect. That bear goes down like a ton of bricks as the flames from the magnesium just tend to melt it like lava, leaving behind a exposed muscle and bone protruding from what was once spore, and there still is 1 bear there, but we'll say that some of the magnesium splashes back at you for 2 harm, but your armor takes it as it just sizzles. You look like a cool person as it just like does nothing to you. It might do it later if it's
Like Alien.
continues to burn through your armor, but for now it looks really cool. Pan, I believe it's your turn.
Yeah, Pan, so she's just had this bear effectively thrown out of her way as she was running forwards. Is it just 1 bear left now?
Yes.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It looks a little hardier than the other bear.
It looks hardier than the other bear. Okay, then I will change into my werewolf form. And I'm going to charge
Okay.
it.
Ooh, all
Let's
right.
have a look.
You look over as Pan, who was 5'3", in her human form, shifts into a wolf, bipedal, slightly taller than her size, but lean and spry, with a discolored mark across her chest, as if there's a scar that shines through. If I remember that correctly.
Yes, you did.
Okay. I've only been doing
My
this for like
roll, yeah.
perfect.
9.
9. Okay. And are you biting it or slashing at it?
She's slashing at it. She doesn't want her face anywhere near it. She's almost kicking it back.
Fair. So Pan lunges forward into her wolf form and slashes at this bear, and it kind of turns its body, taking most of the blow as her claws like sink into it. It starts to bleed, but the blood doesn't look like red. It looks like that kind of yellow neon fungal juice leaking out of its pores, as it kind of catches her in a bite, and gives you 2 damage, 2 harm, which I believe is reduced to 1 again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you have an armor in your wolf form. Reese, it is now your turn.
Out at the same time. That's it.
Perfect.
Um,
Reese, what are you doing?
I feel like she's still hunched over the elder brain. Maybe the flames have died on her hands now, and it just like died. And so she's just going to like gracefully leap over towards the bear that's on Pan, and just claws first, going in.
All right, go for it. Roll, kick some ass.
I will. and that'll be a 7. I had a +3 and I got a 7.
All right. Well, that's still a success. So your claws deal 2 damage, if I recall correctly. So you sink in on kind of like the other side of this bear, and it kicks at you with one of its back hind legs, slashing you for a 2 harm as well, which I believe is reduced to 1, which means it's reduced to 0 because you've got crazy ass stats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's looking pretty hurt. Q, what are you doing?
I'm going to turn back to that bear. So I pull the sword out of the brain, leaving a trail of sparks as spores are burning off of the edges of it, and then I just go right back in to attack that bear.
Okay.
So
you know what you need to roll.
Attempt to kick some ass.
You kick that ass. Kick it.
That's a 7 + 2, so 9.
Okay, not bad. So you slice through this bear with your flaming divine energy as the remaining spore on its hide kind of catches fire from it, and it screeches, and it kind of like opens its mouth as you see kind of the divine fire going through its chest, and you can see it down its throat as it screech kind of goes into a high pitch, almost like that whine of logs and a fire when it catches some air, and it goes and it just concaves and dies. Both bears now dead, and the skittering creature's leaving as the brain burns more, and the burning kind of travels up the walls and starts to just kind of cleanse whatever fungus is left before reaching the top and going out. But now it's dark.
As the fire is still going, Reese will pull out a plastic takeout container fork from Jay's Diner and throw it on the fire and just say, "That's for you, Jay."
Oh my gosh. Oh, buddy. Love it.
I think if everything starts to take, she'll let Reese do that, but then start dragging Reese out.
Everybody out.
And yelling for everyone else to move because fire catches quick.
It didn't hurt that bad.
Perfect. As you do, kind of like the walls that were covered in that fungus start to kind of wither away and die, and not in a way that is average where you see like rot take hold and it kind of just looks like an old banana. It kind of starts to sizzle and turn to ash and just break away as it just kind of flutters in the wind. And you go out and you see the same thing as whatever parasitic growth had reached out from this brain begins to dissipate, and you feel like you've successfully ridded something that took root in a weakened time. You guys are a little dinged up, but not too bad. It was an easy job. So you head back to Hendrick's Humvee, back to the town for a little bit more peace and quiet. Hendricks and Q, of course, welcome to stay. And I know it's a little early, but I think with all the issues, I think we're gonna call it a night. We're gonna end the session there. Thank you, Matt, Annie, for joining along the crazy ride. Emotions
awesome.
And bears.
Emotions and bears. That should have been the name of the episode.
That should have been
Emotions
the.
and
You know,
bears,
we'll change it. We'll just face it.
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us with the tech issues that are coming up and stuff like that. Thank you to also our lovely viewers that have come in and played with us as well. We will go round still. Again, let us know where we can find you on the internet, but also what was your favorite bit from today, even if it was a little bit broken up. And we will go in reverse order, and we will start with Longfellow Matt. Oh, hi.
Hi. I really actually love the opening role playing with you guys. Just sitting, eating at the diner at the very beginning. Just the feels and the reality of it was really cool. But you can find. We're also doing Where We Can Find Me, right?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay. You can find me on Twitter, Longfellow_Matt, and if you enjoy listening to D&D podcasts, you can also hear me on Misfits Guide to Adventuring at Misfits_Guide.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And then let's hop over and say thank you to Texas Annie. Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi. So, you can find me at Texas Annie on Twitter, and that's the only really important thing. And my favorite, I actually really liked the role-playing part too. I love RP heavy TTRPGs. Like my favorite game that I'm in, sometimes we never have a combat in a 3-hour session and we all just, really just get into the drama. So that's such a good feeling when you've got players and a GM that like everybody trusts each other, and you can play that and get into those areas without it being good. It's good scary, not bad scary, so that's that was awesome to see. I also liked exploding a brain, so that was good.
I love it. And then we're gonna hop over and say hello to Lily Sparks. Oh, hi.
Hi. Hello. Yes, I'm on the internet on Instagram and Twitter at Lily Sparks with an X. I am also on Twitch, where I'll be hosting all of the streams that I'm doing. I'm on many streams, but if you check the links on my Instagram and Twitter, you'll find that. Come check out the game I'm GMing on Sunday, Gilding Light. That'll be fun. Man, even with all the lag issues and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much epicness that's just kind of being buried a little bit, but it was still so epic. I love Hendrix's vibe. I just had such a strong image of him as a character, and with the Humvee and the cat, I just want a whole comic book about Hendrix. That'd be great. And then Q just carving open that bear, and just the light pouring into it and bursting forth. That was great. I was flaming sword, hell yeah. So yeah, all of that was amazing. And of course, any quality time with Alice and Kaya is treasured. And all of us sitting around pretending to eat things and pretending to cry and a little bit actual crying. It's a good time.
It's a mood. That's what we do every week. We eat, we cry, we kill something, we come back and repeat.
Make new friends.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Then I'm going to hand over to our alpha before I wrap up.
Well, hello everyone. I am Kaya Gasson. You can find me on a Twitter sphere at Quick Charisma. I was your alpha for this evening. My favorite thing every week, like I say, every week is just being able to see where the story goes, what the characters tell me that they're doing, whether it's the playable characters or the NPCs tell me what they want to do. Meeting new people every week. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Annie, for putting in the effort for these awesome characters. I hope you had fun. I definitely did. I do always love the awkward interactions between Pan and Reese, especially when food is involved and trying to come up with what I've seen in random tiki bars around Florida, my home state. Craziness. But you can find me here and only here. I love it here. I will never relieve it. They can't get rid of me. I am like fleas. I stay. I'm like glitter. There we go. Once I'm in, I'm never leaving.
I was like, glitter's a nice thing. Let's stick with glitter.
Stick with glitter. I'm like, wait, not fleas.
Stick with glitter, not fleas. No, you're nothing like that.
No. I'm pretty, I'm sparkly, and I get everywhere.
And
glitter's the fleas of the craft world.
It really is.
Awesome, thank you. I'm Alice. I'm also White Rabbit Pick on Twitter and Instagram. That is where you can find me. I am the one of the founders of the Scratticus Academy, where we love to come and teach people how to play TTRPGs. You can check out all my photography stuff in the links that are coming up now. I do have a Patreon. which I'm starting to spam with things because I can't go outside and shoot weddings and lifestyle stuff anymore. So that's taken a lot. Also, I am a DM for Atheist Walkway with Lily over on Tales from the Grim, and also Gilding Light for Zyara. Yeah, I said that's over on Gilding Light. Also, my favorite bits are one, just the imagery. One, Kai giving the imagery of the dream. That was amazing. The imagery of Reese and Pan, I think both hanging over a booth to try and decide what we're gonna eat. The idea that Hendrik goes around like as this big badass guy, but he's got a little cat that sort of sits with him in the front seat. And the image of, okay, we're gonna go into like this cave now. It's gonna be spooky. It's gonna be scary. And Q's like, let me just get my flaming sword out as casually as possible. So they're my favorite bits. But otherwise, please check out the links coming up in chat now. That includes the Discord. We have a channel just for this game. We'd love to hear what you think. If you want to get into this game, or also any of our other viewer games, please go and drop Scrat a DM on Twitter and we will get you in one. If you've missed out on anything and want to catch up, head over to YouTube. We put all of our games in playlists, so that it's easy to do so. A huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Hero Forge with their color printed minis. You can tune in tomorrow. Our first show tomorrow is where Scrat and I drink a lot of coffee and use their beta, paint, create. Finally made my frog paw last week, which I'm so happy about. You want to go see my little frog critter. Also Dungeon Fog for your map needs and note-taking needs, both for campaigns and one-shots. If you update something on your map, then it updates in the notes as well. Also, the Deck of Many, with the Deck of Many Things. They're currently 2k away from their last stretch goal already, which is going out. So go and check them out. There's some seriously awesome things on there. I'm looking at the Magic Moving Tarot cards right now. They're just... Also, we use their Humblewood, which is another one of our viewer games. If you want to test that out, that is on Thursday. And last but certainly not least, also Mage Hand Press. They for their hardback copy of Dark Matter, if you want to take your D&D campaign and yeet it into space, that is exactly what you need to do it with. It's a wonderful thing. Otherwise, I'm going to stop talking. Keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, everyone, I hope you'll tune in just over an hour for our last show of the day, Rotting Shadows. Until then, I think we should go on a raid, a little midday raid. Let's do this thing. Gonna get someone up now. Let's see. Hey, I know who we're going to raid. One of the shining lights in this community, a moderator and wonderful person. Looks like they've just started up as well today's stream. So you'll be going in fresh to something brand new. We are going to go with our raid cry. Doesn't look like the raid cry is working through Streamlabs yet. Okay, well, you know, we'll work that out. We'll type it in manual. It's a day of, tech issues, it would seem. A day of tech issues, indeed. Every time Zoom updates, I swear. Okay, so there we go. There is our raid cry. Join us as we raid Ren. You know them as Atomic Firebird. Over at make_believe_. Join me, everyone. Let's light up their chat with hype. Let's get in there and hype things up. Thank you very much for attending today. We'll see you very, very soon.